Graph Paper Architect here, and I want to talk to you a little bit about what I'm going to call dungeon block. It's something I'm actually experiencing right now. This whole morning, I have just sat here and stared at the screen, stared at the mic, looked off into the distance, and thought, what in the world am I going to do for tabletop thoughts today? I'm dedicated to getting you something every day. So I need to produce something. And boy, it has been a struggle. Just couldn't find anything. I'm looking on all of my feeds, on my X feed, Twitter feed, whatever you want to call it, YouTube's, spend some time on Twitch even, just scrolling, looking at it, because I never really spend time on Twitch. I think about, maybe putting out some videos out there for Twitch, but not really doing anything there. Facebook, go on the phone, and just nothing. There's nothing. I'm just going, well, let's go to the lists. Let's think about what are the lists, monsters and mayhem and what do we do in tabletop and how we play and what we do and why we do it. And because there's going to be a lot of those videos. I mean, I have a whiteboard of videos that are, a whole list of things that we're going to be discussing. And we're going to go all the way from, why do we even play tabletop role playing? And why do we care so much about what people say about it online? And version wars and, what is your favorite monster and what is your favorite mechanic? And, there's a lot of things that we're going to discuss, but nothing was sticking. Nothing was like, oh yeah, let's do a video about that. I have what I'm going to call dungeon block, and it's something I think that all of us have experienced to some degree. And sometimes you're just sitting there staring at the piece of graph paper. I don't know what the heck I'm even going to write. What am I going to do? It can stem from a lot of things. Maybe you've done it all. I mean, I've gamed for a long time. I'm a grognard TNG. It started in the 80s. So we've done just about, you can imagine, we've saved the princess, we've saved the kingdom, we've burned the kingdom to the ground, we've found out that the princess was actually a villain, we've gone on adventures on the water, adventures under the water, adventures underground and in the Underdark, and adventures in space and Spelljammers. We even started blending all kinds of different genres, and we took people, it's like roll up a bunch of Dark Sun characters and then take those, and Ravenloft decides to grab them with the fog, and then they go into Ravenloft. And I know I'm talking about Dungeons and Dragons and old school Dungeons and Dragons. So if you're not familiar with those campaign settings, and if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, I thoroughly recommend that you pick up some old school TSR stuff and start playing, start gaming, start reading, start checking it out. I could give you an idea of it, but it's basically genre mashing. I mean, think of any kind of genre that you enjoy and then start mashing them up. Put My Little Ponies in with Transformers, and put Transformers in with He-Man, or, whatever else you can think of. Adventure Time meets, what am I thinking of? Yeah, the Rick and Morty. Right. Just start blending. You can do that. That's sort of an interesting way to kind of maybe de-block yourself and just think of, okay, what if this happened? What if that happened? And some of it doesn't work. A lot of it doesn't work. I'm not a big fan of genre blending, and, I'm not too much into that. I like to keep everything sort of by itself. But things that you can do to, get out of your dungeon block. I sat here and scrolled on social media. Didn't work. Looked up some graphics, looked at some little comics, dungeon comics, what we were going to talk about. That didn't work. And eventually just got away from it all. Decided, well, let's try that. I've done that before with writing. I'll just get away from every single thing. So I believe that there's sort of a spectrum. You can think, if you're trying to write for fantasy, maybe you need to sort of give your fantasy filter a rinse. So go and do everything sci-fi. Think of the opposite. Think of something completely, totally opposite from where you're trying to go with your writing, and then go have some of that media, put some of that media in. If you're going for action, then go watch a romance movie or a rom-com or whatever. If you're trying to write a romance, well, get some Schwarzenegger, be like, yeah, get to the job if you want to leave. Yeah, and you're gonna shoot this bad guy over here, and I'm gonna shoot this bad guy over there, and then he's going to do the thing. Yeah. And so, and the next thing you know, when you're done having the some of the, best entertainment, I think, and then, your brain can clear up. You're like, oh wow, okay, now I can think again. I could come up with something new and unique to put my players through, or to write, or to create a product. That's another thing. Creating product to hopefully sell is a completely different kind of thing than just making stuff for your friends at game tables. I mean, but either way, you can have Dungeon Block. I sat there and just been like, I don't know, hey guys, I got nothing, and if you don't have a really strong narrative that you're already in on a track, and even if you do, you could still have Dungeon Block. You could have the total narrative planned out and think, okay, well, we're going to go in here, and the Baron is actually going to be a lich, but nobody knows, and we're going to be trying to save the kingdom and whatever, and they go in and they somehow one-shot the Baron, or they take a different track, they turn left instead of right, and now they're nowhere near what you've planned, and suddenly you've got Dungeon Block because you didn't have time or prep or whatever, and you go back to Arnold. Right? I don't know. It's kind of where I get random. For me, another good way to do it is, there you go. I was popping into Arnold. Just random. Just go for the Muppet Show. Just think of, what if, holy cow, you had the wagon train of Bob and his best friend Bill, the dancing bugbear. I don't know. Grab something out of your past. Grab something out of any other kind of media. Just start thinking out of the box and just go for it. Random tables. That's a great way to do it too. You can just go to the random tables section, start rolling. Just roll. Roll it, and then force yourself, because that's what I did today with this, tabletop thoughts. I just forced myself to do it. It was like, just turn the camera on, start talking, give them 15 minutes of tabletop thoughts on whatever the heck is going on. And I'm just like, I don't know. I can't even think today. Don't even have it. It's just not there. It's just not clicking. But once you get the ball rolling, once you start doing something, roll on that random table, and whatever it is, no matter what it is, just go, oh, wow, we've got, displacer beasts, or blink dogs, or unicorns, or whatever. And then another the tool that I've used in the past is when we were just like, we don't know what the hell to do. We were like, all right, fine, just whatever, just roll a monster. Blam, we rolled a monster. Or we had our monstrous compendium in our binder, which was fantastic. And then just close your eyes and reach down and grab a page and open it. This is what we're dealing with. This thing right here. And and you could read it. You could get an idea of its ecology, where it was from, that sort of stuff. It was great. And then you could just roll with that. Be like, well, this is here now. We're just going to deal with it. Or you turn a corner in the alley and suddenly there's a portal and this thing comes out. Yeah, whatever. Just keep it simple, but it's like, okay, now you're going to have to deal with this monster, or you're going to have to deal with this situation. Whatever it is, you just chuck it in there. Don't worry about whether it's going to fit your narrative. Don't worry, try to keep it within the campaign setting, I guess. I mean, if you're in, let's say, Forgotten Realms or whatever it is that you're adventuring in, and you go to grab a monster out of Dark Sun or Ravenloft or something completely separate, and it might just kill everything and everyone and break your whole game. You can't be grabbing Bowser out of Mario and chucking him in, Tomb Raider or something, and then it's broken because, she's shooting at Bowser, and Bowser's like, that doesn't do anything to me. You have to throw turtle shells at me. Just smash. She's done. I mean, you got to try not to break things, but sometimes we're just blocked. Sometimes we can't think. Sometimes we just don't know. Sometimes it's not there. You can rinse it out with something completely opposite. You can spend some time outside, which is fantastic. That's another thing that I like to do is just turn on some music, work out, exercise, get moving, get your body going. A lot of times we're sitting when we're creating, unless we're dictating while we're on a treadmill maybe or something like that. But staying in one place too long when you're already in a funk and you're just like, I can't think, what's going on? It's not happening. And I just don't know. Get away from it. Completely get away from it. I tell people this when I talk to them about some of the other things that I do. I do some coaching and some other things on the side. And part of that is we become saturated with technology. We become saturated with information in this day and age. See, back in the day, we didn't have that. When things were done, it was done. You went to school, you were at school, school was school, you were done with school, you left school, and then you were at home. That was, and whatever happened at school was at school. Nowadays, unfortunately, I've seen, the kids, kids got, the stuff follows them right here. The plastic Pop-Tart, that's what I call it. And it will follow you everywhere. You did something at school, you came out of the bathroom, you had toilet paper stuck to your foot, and you didn't know, or your fly was down, or whatever other silly thing happened, you dropped your books, whatever. And somebody just decided, of course, that they had their phone ready to go, and now it is all over the place, following you everywhere, and it is all kinds of hell. It can be really, really bad. You got to desaturate from that. You got to get away from all of that. And I think that's part of what happens with Dungeon Block is we're just too saturated with just everything. You can't function anymore. Your needle goes into the red zone and you're just done, So turn it all off. Turn it all off. Turn everything off. Tell your family and loved ones, be like, hey, I am going on a detox. That's where I was going with that. I call it a techno detox or a social media detox. Just shut it down completely. Done. I'm not doing anything. I'm not looking at it. I'm away from it. Physically get away from it. Go outside, go for a walk, leave the space, go somewhere, go to a restaurant, go to a library if you hopefully have those anymore, but go somewhere else. Even if you just drive around the block or walk around the block, get out. I know maybe I sound like go touch grass. I don't really understand that. But it's true. Get away from the technology and the oversaturation of just stuff. That can cause your dungeon block, and that can help you clear out your dungeon block. You can just get away from it. And the other thing you can do is also completely break away from the fiction. You could go completely and totally heavy into something absolutely and completely non-fictional at all. Historical documentaries, great. Animal documentaries, David Attenborough, fantastic. Dinosaurs, fantastic. You're just like, and you soak that up and you're thinking about that and get that completely in your space, and you're not going kobolds, dragons, princess anymore. It gives you a mental vacation. That's what you need, really, is a mental vacation. Give yourself a break from whatever it is that you're doing so that you can declog. Another good thing that I did today was I also went online and I found some cool people to chat with. They were doing a stream about making games, and that helped too, because I was, instead of thinking about my own stuff, I was thinking about their stuff, and it gave me that tiny mental vacation. I was having a conversation that really, it had some stuff to do with game design, so it was sort of adjacent, similar to what I was trying to pull off. But yeah, just get away from it. Have a break. That's another way to get through it. So I hope that this helps. I hope that there's some things in here that you can use to take care of your dungeon block. Let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced dungeon block. What have you done to get away from it or to mitigate it, help deal with it, And thanks again. I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Until next time, friends, good journey.